Hi everyone and welcome to episode 12 of the Talk is Cheap show, a show that looks into matters in the world of football, mainly relating to Arsenal, but not exclusively so. But before we go any further, let me introduce my homie, Big C in the house.
Happening, bro?
What you say, man?
Yeah,
everything good?
Yeah, bless, man.
Good, man, good. How was the rest of the Christmas?
Yeah, it was alright. Apart from Arsenal, everything was good, you know, food, drink.
Food, drink. Were you going through the old, what I call the Christmas withdrawal symptoms here?
Just, what we've ate too much and it all goes a bit flat after that, don't it?
Yeah, man, I hear you, man. But yeah, man, we've got a great show. For those of you who are regular followers of the show, you know we always kick things off by reviewing Arsenal's last game since the last show. We had a game, most recently, Sunday, Arsenal at home to Chelsea, and we're going to go through it in a little bit of detail. So, Curtis, my man, you're our resident expert. Let's just take it from the top. The team selection was notable for one particular piece of news that we got, Granit Xhaka's omission.
Yeah.
With so-called illness.
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
Well, I don't think he's ill. I think he's probably in Germany negotiating his move.
That seemed to be the common consensus.
Yeah, I mean, Arteta says he wants him to stay, but I think we know that his time at the club's probably up. He's been at the club a few years now. I can't question the guy's passion, although sometimes it's gone a little bit overboard, as we saw at the Palace game. But I just think it's time for him to move on. I think we need a different type of midfielder, a more powerful midfielder, more athletic midfielder. And I think if we can get a good price for him, I think it works for everyone.
Yeah, I would go along with that. I mean, I think that the Granit Xhaka experiment hasn't really worked, has it, if we're being honest. When he came to the club, actually, I was quite enthused because I did a little bit of research on him.
Yeah. And
I was told that he was a bit of a powerhouse in midfield, strong in the tackle, can spray long passes and good in possession of the ball. But, we have to say overall it hasn't worked out. He's often been accused of slowing the play up.
Yeah.
I found his long-range passing is quite good, but I found his shorter-range passing isn't that good. He tends to give the ball away. Also gets caught in possession in dangerous areas of the pitch. And it just hasn't really kicked on, has it?
No.
So,
do you know what? I think he's a half-decent player. I just don't think the Premier League suits him. I think it's that little bit too quick. I think back in Germany or the Italian league, somewhere like that, I think he'd be a decent player. But as you say, and the fact that they say we signed him ahead of Kante as well makes it a little bit worse, don't it, when you see how that turned out. But
I think maybe they just looked at the sizes of the players.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Size matters. But maybe they looked at Xhaka and thought, we're looking for this big powerhouse in midfield, sort of Vieira-esque. But he's neither as mobile as Vieira or as good as footballer. So ultimately it didn't work out. It was a bit of a shame to see what happened towards the end of his tenure at Arsenal. What with him getting booed, because none of us likes to see that. But I think to be fair, it's probably best for both parties, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so the rest of the team selection, then what was your thoughts there?
Do you know what? I liked all the team selection apart from Pepe not starting. Now, I actually thought Nelson had one of his better games against Chelsea, but I just think Pepe's ceiling is far higher than Nelson's, what he's capable of. And alright, he keeps talking about training. As we spoke about before, Hazard was a poor trainer. I even heard that Henry at times wasn't a great trainer. I just think some players, they don't train with that same intensity, and I think
that's like people in life, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can't expect everybody to have the same intensity going into everything.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'd just like to ask your thoughts on something that I was being told outside the ground yesterday by more than one person, actually. A few people said this, and they were saying, well, look, there's clearly an issue with Pepe. Yeah. Because you've had three managers on the trot now, namely Unai Emery. Then we had the interim manager, Freddie Ljungberg, and now seemingly Arteta. Sorry. Three Arsenal managers on the bounce that have either not played him or taken him off early. And so it would appear anyway that there seems to be an issue with either Pepe's training or maybe just his general attitude. I mean, obviously I don't know the guy, and I've defended him on previous occasions saying he's a new guy, young guy coming into the country, learning a new language, getting to know his teammates, etc., etc. But at some point, he does have to take responsibility, doesn't he? I don't know. What do you think?
No, I agree with you. I think
3 different managers, none of them have really started him.
Yeah.
So is the problem with Pepe?
I think ultimately he's got to take responsibility for how he's training and his attitude, and maybe, you know, he has to adjust to the Premier League and the demands. But I just think the easiest way to get used to it is on the pitch.
Yeah.
And, you know, because at the moment, I think the fan base, we're not really sure how good he is. I can see talent there. There's no doubt there's talent. It's whether he's going to be a hit. But for the amount of money we've invested in him, we can't afford to have him on the bench doing nothing. Number one, his value's dropping every time he doesn't play. And number two, you know, the guy's confidence will just get lower and lower. So, yeah, I think you're right. I think he does need to take it upon himself to maybe put a bit more effort in. But I'd like to see him on the pitch.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing as well that I would say as well, as an outsider looking in, okay, is that you have to ask yourself, right, if he does have this so-called attitude problem or issue with his whole demeanour and stuff like that, didn't Arsenal do their due diligence before they signed him? Because, you know, you don't just look at YouTube videos and sign a player.
Well, you don't know with Arsenal, do you?
Well, you would have thought that they would have done their due diligence insofar as they would have approached people who've worked with him, you know, tried to get a little feel of how he is, what his temperament's like, what his mentality's like, what's he like when things ain't going that well for him. You know what I'm saying? So I'm a little surprised that, you know, a couple of months into his career at Arsenal, people are questioning his attitude.
Yeah.
Could it be that he needs a proverbial arm around him?
That's what I think. I think he needs a manager to embrace him and say, look, I'm going to work with you. He now knows Arteta's going to be our long-term manager. So you want Arteta, and he's been notorious for working with Sterling and Leroy Sané, wide players. So I hope he gets his arm around Pepe, but he seems to me, because he's come out of that sort of Pep Guardiola school of thought, and he's very disciplined, and I think he likes what Nelson's offering probably more than Pepe, because Nelson worked hard against Chelsea, and I think Pepe, he's gonna have to pull his finger out. He's gonna have to work.
There does seem to be something not quite right, because I mean, we both said it on the show. And even Freddie said it, and I've heard Lundberg say it as well, that the guy's tremendously talented.
Yeah,
they've said that, but for whatever reason, we're not quite getting the best. Well, actually, not quite. We are not getting the best out of him on the pitch, and it's becoming a little bit of a worry now because obviously the team's not playing well. We're drawing and losing games. We're not really winning many games.
Yeah.
So it kind of highlights the problem a bit more. But so yeah, I mean, like you, I was a bit perturbed. Not seeing Pepe in the team yet again. I think it's fast becoming a bit of a problem, that.
Yeah.
So moving on then to the team formation.
Yeah.
How do you think about the way we line up?
I like the formation.
Just tell the people how that works.
So it looked like it was a 4-2-3-1 with the 2 midfielders in front of the back 4, which was Guendouzi and Torreira. You've then got Ozil in the 10, and then we had Aubameyang and Nelson out wide with Lacazette through the middle.
And I know you've got some thoughts on the lack thing.
Lack of threat, they're calling him at the moment.
Wow, man.
You know,
you can't go in and homie like that, man.
You know what? I like Lacazette, but you know,
I've heard people calling him Twerkazette and all them things.
Yeah, I mean,
you can't diss my man.
From the player that we signed in the French league, 20-30 goals a season, doesn't seem like the same player. To me, doesn't even look match fit. He looked tired to me yesterday. I was surprised he actually stayed on for the 90 minutes.
And I don't mean Curtis, I mean confidence.
Confidence. I think it's a mixture of that as well. When you're a goal scorer and you're not scoring goals ultimately, and when you see the guy next to you, Aubameyang, scores everything he touches, that's going to have an effect. But he should have scored again yesterday, Lacazette, I thought.
And I sense like some of the crowd are starting to get on his back a little, which I never like to see. You know?
No, it's not.
And
good.
I think it's you know, he looks a bit anxious, doesn't he? He's snatching at shots. He's either snatching or he's taking that touch too extra. Actually, it's more likely the latter.
Yeah.
And he's just not scoring, man. He scored a few weeks back in one game. Was it the Southampton game? but he just doesn't look like he could buy a goal.
No, and in fact, I saw a stat that Aubameyang is the only player who's scored in the last 4 league games for us.
Yeah,
I mean that's a damning stat, really, isn't it?
Yeah. So what do you think with Laka then? Do you think
Laka? I mean,
do we persist with him or do we?
I think it's hard to turn your back on him because he's a very good player.
He is.
But ultimately, I think the Martinelli, Aubameyang, Pepe front three gives us the most balance with 2 wide players with Aubameyang through the middle.
Yeah, I know you're a big fan of Aubameyang.
I am a big fan of that. I do like Lacazette. I just think sometimes you can't fit every player into a team if you play in a certain system.
So do you think he's a bit fortunate to remain in this side given that Martinelli's out?
Yeah, I think the injury came at the right time for him. I think if Martinelli was fit, Laka may have been on the bench.
I think he just needs a goal, man.
Yeah.
Maybe if he can get a goal in the next game, because I think he will start next game.
Yeah.
If he can get a goal in that game, it'll be a great time for him to get it, you know. Right, so talking about goals, let's move on to
the big man.
The captain.
Yeah.
Aubameyang.
Yeah, well, we touched on it last week, didn't we?
We did, man. We did. Indeed, we might have to have a future show where we concentrate more on Aubameyang, because again, Aubameyang, like Lacazette, tends to polarise the fan base.
For some reason.
I can't understand it, man. Like, for me, people need to put some respect on that man's name, because if it wasn't for him, trust me, I dread to think where we are now.
We'd be in a relegation battle. There's no doubt about it. We're only 6 points off the bottom 3, and I mean, he's
you got a stat, didn't you, that you told me yesterday
about
Aubameyang? With his last 5 games, he's the only goal scorer.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, I think Pepe's goal at West Ham was the last time anyone else scored apart from him. Right. So I mean, it's a damning stat, but. Yeah, I mean, one thing Aubameyang really showed in that Chelsea game was his work rate. Yeah. People have questioned it. I mean, we've spoke about it a few times. I personally, I don't want to see our best striker running up and down the pitch. I want to see him whip for the 18-yard box. Because now chances are falling to other people, and you think he should be there.
Exactly.
I mean, as we were just saying, if we continue playing him like that, you're going to burn the guy out.
Yeah.
It's the reason Vardy quit playing for England, and you know these guys who their game is based around pace, they want to preserve it as long as possible, and you don't want them running up. He was literally next to Saka, wasn't he? At times.
Yeah, there was. Me and you were watching the game yesterday, and I think there was one time where he ran like 50 yards to make a sliding tackle, and everybody got up and jumping and
passion,
fist pumping. And I remember saying to you, didn't I? Because we don't want him down that way. Because when he's that far the other way, he can't be in a position to score goals.
Exactly.
Somebody else should be one of the midfielders should be making that tackle, one of the defenders making that tackle.
Yeah.
So that if they do get the ball back, we can break quickly and have a chance to score. Surely, Peter, isn't that what it's all about?
I mean, in that setup, with him playing on the left, Saka needed his help. But this is my point why I don't think he should be on the left.
No.
Because at 30 years old and with that goal record, you don't want him running up and down the wing.
No, man, you're just burning the man out. We need him at the other end scoring goals.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, okay, if you're a front player, most teams nowadays, Arsenal no different, they start their press from the top.
Yeah.
So you expect your front three to press the ball high up. I've got no problem with that.
Yeah.
So if he's not doing his obligatory work up top,
you can moan,
you call him out
that,
for it.
Yeah.
But like you said, on the wing, chasing back 30, 40 yards to win slide tackles. Looks great. Aesthetically, wow. Crowd up, jump in.
Passion,
But at the end of the day, man,
that's not what he's there for.
That's not what he's there for, man.
Him for that.
He's there to score goals, and he's doing his job. Imagine if the rest of the team were doing their job and getting the ball to him. What would happen then?
What I would say to the fans is appreciate this guy while we've got him, because this could be another Alexis Sanchez, you know, that kind of scenario where
Put some respect on this man's name, because when he's gone, you're going to see what we're talking about.
I'll be surprised if we've still got him next season.
Yeah, man. I mean, it pains me to have to talk about it, man. But it does look kind of.
It's not looking
good.
good
Go that way, because I don't think the way we're going this season as well. You know what I mean? The guy's entering into the twilight years of his career. Is he going to stick around in a team that's struggling?
Yeah.
You know, he's like every player is going to want to play at the very highest level, i.e. Champions League, especially as, no disrespect, but his native country, Gabon, they're never
really going to win
many things, are they?
No.
So it's all about the domestic stuff for him.
Yeah.
And if, you know, a guy like that, he deserves to be playing for a Premier team.
And the sad thing is, I think he actually really enjoys playing at Arsenal.
Man, you can see that.
He seems
when
to
he
have
scores
embraced
the goals, he's passionate. And, I just feel a bit sorry for him, man, because he's having to do the work of 10 men, it seems.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on a little bit then. Last week, it was funny because we were bigging up Aubameyang at the top end of the pitch, and we was also saying that Leno was the man at the other end of the pitch. So we were saying that we got those two positions covered. Well, it looks like we put a bit of a curse on him, man, because yesterday, Leno, that goal was a bit of a shocker. Really?
It was. And the thing is, I was sitting there thinking, for all the pressure, I didn't think Chelsea would score.
No.
They didn't create a great deal.
Well, I actually disagree with you on that. I kind of felt like a goal was coming.
Did you?
Yeah.
There was a lot of pressure, but I didn't really feel like they created anything clear cut. But I know what you mean. There was a build-up of... It looked like something...
Listen, my thing is that... when you watch football, the way I was watching the game yesterday and the way that Chelsea had so much possession in that game, and not even just the second. A lot of people saying, we had the first half, they had the second half, and I was like, well, actually, no, because we had about the first half an hour, didn't we? First half an hour, 35 minutes. Towards the latter half of that first half,
they grew
to me, Chelsea were in the ascendancy, and they were taking over. And by midway through the second half, even before midway, they'd completely taken over the game. We were camped in our half.
I think what was... Sorry to interrupt you. What was a key point, I think, was Lampard's substitution in the first half, because we were dominating, as you said, and he was ruthless. He took the defender off, went to 4 at the back, and we seemed to lose the midfield from that point. They dominated the midfield, and as you said, we were just camped in our own half the second half, which I thought was a bit strange.
Yeah, man. I mean, listen, I watch a lot of boxing, as you know, and some people out there might know as well. And there's a famous term that we use in boxing when another guy's pressuring another, and that is simple: pressure burst pipes.
I know.
And I was watching that game yesterday, and that's what I was thinking. I goes, they're getting so much of the ball.
Yeah.
Okay, they haven't created too many clear-cut chances, but sooner or later, one of these chances is going to tell, because they were extending us all the time.
Yeah.
And I just kept thinking that, you know what, sooner or later they're going to score. And then I think that's probably what led to the mistake.
Yeah.
Because Leno constantly under pressure with, making last gasp tackles and stuff like that. We're having to close them down. And okay, they hadn't created too many clear-cut chances, but you could just feel the momentum building.
They were dominating, yeah, definitely.
So when they scored, albeit by a bit of a howler by the keeper, I just kept thinking to myself, it's coming, and then it come.
Yeah.
So...
just got to hope it's a one-off, but it was a bad time to make it.
Yeah.
Make that 3-0 up, you know what I mean, where it don't hurt us, but it was a terrible
and that's why
time.
as well, we were talking about goal scoring. When you're a goal up and things are going against you, especially, you need another goal, don't you?
Yeah, we needed the second. We needed the second.
Especially the way we're defending at the moment.
Yeah.
But I just want to ask you as well, on that goal that Chelsea scored, it was scored by Jorginho.
Yeah.
And one of the big talking points after the game was, should Jorginho have remained on the pitch? What's your take on that?
It's 100% he should have been sent off.
Yeah.
It's a blatant second yellow. The ref...
I spoke to a lot of fans outside the ground after, and they were saying that was the turning point, because,
because he scores a few minutes later. I mean, football works in strange ways, because, as we were saying, for me, Guendouzi should have been sent off.
Yeah,
and
I thought so.
I'm not going to be biased because he plays. He should have gone. He was a stupid, the way he pulled.
Yeah.
And I can't believe VAR actually ignored it. So it works both ways. I know people will say, well, Jorginho scored, so... by
it looks a certain way when he goes on to get the goal.
So it looks worse. But
so you're not of the view that
the ref got it wrong, but I'm more annoyed at the fact we conceded 2 goals in 5 minutes and just threw the game away. I think if you do your job, you win the game. All right, the ref wasn't good enough, we know that, but...
there was a lot of people around me that when Mustafi came on, it was like...
Oh, no.
Putting their hands up to their face and thinking, oh, my gosh, and... From that point of view, you didn't disappoint, did it?
No.
That's...
what
was your take on that second goal? Do you think it was an error, or do you think
I looked at it quite closely. I think, number one, when Abraham gets the ball on the halfway line, Mustafi should go and put a tackle in.
Right. You'd expect him to.
Put a tackle in. Even if he skips by you take him out, it's a yellow card, you slow the game down. once it's developed, then Saka recovers, but he doesn't block the gap where Willian crosses the ball. He gets here and the ball sort of goes in front of him. He looked like he was tired. And then Mustafi's not tight enough on time. In the penalty area, you should be touch tight to your player. So when he turns, you can block it. But he's gambling like, I think he thought he was going to go left and then he went right, and by then he's finished.
I mean, that was what I noticed as like looking at the goal that Abraham scored. The position that Mustafi's in is wrong to start with. But then even then, he still had time to try and close down the space. And he did neither.
No.
And he just made himself easy to beat from that distance. Easy for the shot to get off from there. So
it was poor.
I thought that was poor defending,
really poor.
And that kind of summed up season really with the defending at Arsenal. But
even our midfield as well. I mean, we got Willett, Guendouzi and Torreira on the pitch. The ball gets cleared and all our midfielders are on the wrong side of their midfielders. I mean, why would one of them not have sat back in front of the defence? It's just schoolboy errors. Terrible defending.
Yeah, I've got to agree with you on that. So there you go, people. That's our review of our last game, which was a disappointing 2-1 home defeat to local rivals, London rivals, Chelsea. So for our second topic of this week's show, I was just going to ask our resident expert here, Curtis. So Arteta, 2 games, 1 away from home, 1 at home, 1 draw, 1 loss, no wins yet. I was just thinking, what are your initial early thoughts on Arteta, and what do you think his realistic targets would be between now and the end of the season?
He has impressed me since he's come in, I'll be honest. His whole demeanour, the way he's spoken, his body language on the touchline, even the way he consoles the players after the game. I think those things are important for fans to see.
I felt desperately sorry for him yesterday.
He did
look a bit crestfallen. I felt bad for him as well as bad for myself.
You can tell he cares about the club. I think that's what the fans are buying into. He set us up with a style of play, and I think ultimately going forward we can build on that. It's just at the moment, we've got players out injured, which doesn't help. And I think we need to go into the market in January.
He's coming into a very difficult spot, isn't he?
And difficult games, Chelsea and United, and even after that I think we've got Palace. So
it's been a bit of a baptism of fire, isn't it? So
what's your thoughts on him, Eben?
Like I said last week, I'm impressed with his body language and his demeanour, and we know all about his coaching ability. We've been told by many people that he's an excellent coach, and I think you can see little signs of that already. So there are some green shoots of recovery there for Arsenal, but it's going to be difficult, isn't it? Because we've got some difficult games coming up, and I think
one thing I would question of the players is in these last 2 games, I think they've worked harder. They look like they've given everything, but then you have to question, what were they doing before? Do you know what I mean? Are they not even putting it in for the shirt?
What I've noticed is increased energy levels and a better attitude. I mean, we spoke earlier, didn't we, about Aubameyang's chasing back down the pitch and putting in sliding tackles, which, to be fair, is something we haven't really seen him do a lot of, although as I don't want to keep reiterating, I'm not sure if that's where we want to see him, but that was just an example of what we're talking about. So energy levels, he's giving the youth team players a chance, so all those things are positive. The negative that I see though is just obviously it's not just down to him, but the lack of quality in the final pass and the shots on goal and that type of stuff. And I've still got an issue with this Pepe thing. I think that needs to be managed properly.
It does,
In terms of targets, then, what do you see?
I mean,
do you think you should prioritise with the Europa League? Because we're not going to get the top 4.
No, we're not. I think the top 4 went yesterday.
Some people would say our target should be avoiding relegation.
Well, this is the thing, we're only 6 points off the bottom 3.
That R word is looming, people.
And our next 2 games are United at home and Palace away. Now, they are difficult games. If we don't win one of those 2, we could be a point or 2 above the relegation zone. We can't be arrogant enough to just think we're all right. We've won 1 game in 15. I mean, that's like 1 in 15 in the league.
15 games
it's unbelievable. I mean, that West Ham game is the only one. We've drawn 9 games in the Premier League already.
So, and that's the problem. We've only 1 point for a draw. You know what I mean? It's not.
It doesn't do a lot.
Does it? You need wins.
You've got to win them games, man. So we need to go into the market, I think. But just in terms of that question, I think the Europa League will have to be the priority. But just make sure the Premier League, make sure we're safe.
But in essence, we've seen enough from him to feel encouraged that he's going to...
Yeah. The fans need to be very patient with him. I'm not going to be on his back for
much time.
Yeah.
But we need to give him a chance. So yes, people, we're backing him, but it's going to be a long, hard slog.
Yeah.
Now for our Ops of the Week, which is a regular feature on the show where we look at Arsenal's upcoming games until our next show. And there's 2 games coming up before our next show. And the first one is on New Year's Day. Big game, man.
Yeah, very.
Arsenal at home to Man United. Always a big game anyway, but it's got particularly significance this week. Pulling up some receipts on United, man. They haven't been playing too badly recently, have they? Look, like their last 5 games, 3 wins. Burnley, Newcastle, they also beat Man City. 1 draw, Everton, and a surprising loss. Watford. But yeah, man, I think it's going to be a very difficult game. Plus, United have got a few players that are on form at the moment. Like Martial, Rashford. Yeah.
Pogba's back, and he played well in his last appearance for Man United. So, and it seems like United kind of look forward to coming to the Emirates most of the time, don't they? So, what's your thoughts, man? Do you know what? I'll be honest. Most of the time, I'm quite optimistic. I always predict this one. I'm not confident.
I wish I could say I was confident.
Honestly, I'm not. The way they play on the counter-attack, I think, will totally go against how we play. And their front 3 are like roadrunners, aren't they? Martial, James and Rashford. They'll be looking to hit us on the break. We're going to have to show something, what we haven't seen, man. I'm telling you, they got to pull a performance out of somewhere. We're still at home, but yeah.
This is going to be a true test of Arteta's managerial ability, isn't it, this game? I know it's come early in his tenure, so it's kind of unfair to, judge him by a game like this, but this is going to be a big test for him. I imagine he's probably sitting down right now as we speak and
planning.
All sorts of permutations are going through his mind, but, this is a massive game, man, because like I said, it's not just your regular Arsenal versus Man U, sort of South versus North, This game is massive, because especially for us, because if we lose it, like you said, the ramifications are not very nice at all, man. So, but in terms of a prediction, man, I'm going to put you on the spot. I'm going to let you go before I go, man.
Do you know what? A lot of my friends are Man United fans. I can't give them the satisfaction of saying they'll beat us. I'll go 1-1 draw. I'll go for a 1-1 draw.
So if you go for a draw, man, I might have to suck it up and go for a win. Not because I'm particularly confident, but I just think that we're due a performance, aren't we? We're due some luck. We didn't really get that the other day against Chelsea. Although I don't think Chelsea were lucky to win.
No.
Because they were the better side, especially in that second half. But I'm just hoping against hope, man, that we'll just kick off 2020 with a win. So I'm going for... We all concede. We always do. But I'm going for 2-1.
2-1. I'll go 1-1.
And moving on then to the few days after that, the Saturday, January the 4th. Arsenal at home to Leeds in the FA Cup.
Well, we might win this game, actually,
Yeah, we should do.
Yeah.
We should do. But Leeds are not a bad team, man.
They're not bad.
I mean, let me look at some of the Leeds receipts. What are they? They're currently top of the Championship, level with West Brom. They've played 25 games this season, which is a lot. Obviously, the Championship teams play more games. They start a bit early in the Premier League. They've only lost 4, and they do play good football. And then the other thing about this game is that Leeds are going to feel like they're at home this week, aren't they? Because it's the FA Cup, they get a bigger allocation of tickets, which I'm pretty sure they're going to use up. So
they've got a big support.
8,000 plus fans there. And Leeds fans, as we all know, they've been making a lot of noise. So it won't, put it this way, it's not going to be a game that intimidates them, is it?
No.
Their priority is firmly on the Championship. So this is a bit, they're playing Arsenal away. It's almost a free hit for them, isn't it? Whereas us, there's a little more pressure on it, because you could be going into this game without a win.
It'll be interesting how strong a team he picks, really. But we've got a lot of injuries, so he might not have much choice. I think we'll win this game, though. I even think we'll concede against them, though.
Well, at least Eddie won't play, will he? Because he's on loan there, as you guys probably know. Eddie Nketiah.
I'll go 3-1.
3-1?
3-1 win,
Actually, I'm with you on that. 2-1 or 3-1, So, okay, people, that's our preview for the games coming up. So guys, we've come to the end of the show, and we've also come to the end of the shows for 2019. Just want to say thanks very much for all the people that have supported the show. We've not been going that long, but we've had some very encouraging responses. Even outside the ground yesterday, I had a lot of people coming up to us and thanking us for the work we've done. So we want to thank you. We hope that you keep supporting us in 2020. We're going to revamp the show a little bit in the next year. We're working on some ideas behind the scenes, which we're hoping to incorporate. We hope you're going to like them. So keep supporting, keep share, subscribing. And it only needs for me to say, Curtis, my man.
New year, bro.
Big up. Tell the people where they can find you.
Yeah,
man.
check out Curtis Shaw TV. Keep supporting, man, and keep watching.
Thank you very much. Have a happy new year. Don't go overboard, but have yourselves a great time, and see you in 2020.